What's going on, everybody? You are now tuned in live to the Ann Hearts podcast. I am your host, Eric Love, and again, I am joined with PJ.
Hey.
Yeah, man. You know what? We're gonna jump right into it. It's the topic of the day. Will Smith slapping the hell out of Chris Rock at the Oscars last night.
Yeah, I seen that.
Let me just give a little bit of, for anybody who might not have seen it. I'm not really into celebrities like that. I don't really care for Hollywood. I'm actually disgusted by people in Hollywood, but that's just me. Anyway, with that being said, I didn't watch the Oscars, but like a lot of people, I've heard about the situation afterwards, and it is from my understanding, from reading into it a little bit. I think it was probably halfway through the show, maybe towards the end of the show. Chris Rock comes out and he's introducing some kind of documentary. But, Chris Rock being a comedian.
That's what he does.
He cracks jokes. He aimed a joke towards Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife. And I believe the quote was, he said, I love you, Jada.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for G.I. Jane 2. And Will Smith took exception to that. He felt some type of way about that. So he decides he's going to get up because he's sitting right in the front. He walks up to Chris Rock and slaps the hell out of him. I mean, so what are your initial thoughts on that, man?
Man, I don't know where to start with this, but we're going to start from the very beginning, okay? Like you said, Will Smith, he said the joke, right? And I'm going frame from frame. So we're going to go backwards just even a little bit more.
Okay.
He told two more jokes to two other couples, and I can't remember the video. We got to put it up there with the link.
Okay.
And they took it cool. Now, like you said, Chris Rock is a comedian, right?
Right.
And that's his job. This is what he does, guys. This is not something that he goes around just making fun of people.
Can I add something just real quick?
Go for it.
Okay, so I forgot to say, he mentioned, he referenced G.I. Jane, and he made that joke because in the movie G.I. Jane, Demi Moore is bald because she's in the Navy SEALs. I don't remember.
There you go.
And Jada Pinkett Smith currently is bald and doesn't have any hair because she suffers from a condition called alopecia, which is a condition that causes you to lose your hair. So go on.
This is about to be raw, y'all. Sorry, I'm letting you know from the get-go. Sorry, Pop. Sorry, everybody. But here we go. Is it going to be Team Rock or are you going for Team Smith? And just be honest, because I'm going to tell you my opinion and what I really think from what I see.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm on any side per se.
Okay.
I can see that they were both in the wrong in one way, shape, or form.
Wow.
But I personally feel that Will Smith is in the wrong more than Chris Rock.
Thank you. And you know what? You kind of said it all. So all I have to add to that is that when he said the joke to the Will Smith and Jada, he laughed. If you look at the video frame from frame.
He did.
And when he laughed, he took it as it was funny. So when after he laughed, she looked at him. Well, she kind of was disgusted. Her looks, her eyes, like, oh wow, I've been on this road with you before. Then after that, Will gets up and she looks at him, and Will gets up and walks over there to the stage. Now I'm looking at him walking on the stage, right? And I'm looking at Chris Rock, and Chris Rock is looking like he's staying in position. Right. To get hit. He's not just knowing, because think about it, you don't know if someone's gonna hit you or not like that. He looked like they were smiling at each other, so
right.
He took that hit, bro, and didn't fall down. Now to me, they were both wrong, but I'm not sure if this is clout or I'm not sure if it's just bullshit. I don't know what's going on.
What do you mean? Like, you thought it might have been staged?
Yeah.
You know what? It's crazy. That was my very first thought. And I think it was a lot of people's very first thought because...
Look at it.
It just seems so surreal and so odd. But I will say this. Chris Rock's reaction to me seemed very genuine. I think maybe he thought Will Smith was gonna come up there and like pretend like he was, he was gonna toughen up towards.
Man, fuck that shit, man. I'm sorry, guys.
No. Hey,
I'm like,
say how you feel, man. Don't
yeah,
trip.
man. You know what? It's not. I have nothing against Will Smith or Chris Rock because I don't like neither of the guys that I grew up. I mean, I listen to their content or watch it, but like deep liking somebody, like I don't really follow them strong. But I agree with you when you say Will Smith is in the wrong because he want to be like somebody that his wife's in love with, which is Tupac.
Right.
He even said he was jealous on the shows about him when she went out. I mean, like they had stories, they did things. So I want to be like him. I'm gonna act like this way. So now when I see his movies, I see the wannabe toughness. If you go back to Fresh Prince, you could see where he's still in the beginning. He's cool. He's a regular kid. Look, even when any kind of episode,
Right.
just look at the difference.
Right.
I don't really agree with also like Chris Rock either because he should have said, hey, you know what? You think I can throw this joke at you?
Right.
At least permission, especially if you know somebody's got a condition. But Will Smith is the wrong one.
So if you were Will Smith in this situation, how would you have handled it?
Me as a man, I would have waited and gave him a look like you're gonna see me off stage or on commercial,
Right.
and we're gonna talk about this, or I'm gonna hit you then,
Right.
one or the other. But I'm not gonna do it in front of everybody. It's your it's your first Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, yes, his first one.
Oh,
why
wow.
would you fuck that? Why would you mess that up? Why?
I didn't know that. Wow.
His wife should have went ahead and snatched his ass up and said, "Not now. Let's do this later." And normally,
She probably had no idea.
Yeah,
He was gonna
but-
go rogue and
but still, like even though she didn't have no idea, he was laughing in the beginning
yeah.
when they made eye contact and she saw that it affected her.
Right.
That's when he said, "I got to do something about this." And he's always been acting tough ever since. And now I know. Like when it turned in his life, like after I Am Legend movies and Hancock, this is when he started acting this way.
Right.
He even said it. And I'm like, you over here tripping over a girl who's been with 12 or 15 different dudes on a fucking show that you did. And how come you don't slap them? I bet you Pac was here now. And Pac said the same thing that Rock said. I guarantee you he wouldn't have done no shit like
no,
that.
no.
You know what? I promise you.
Right.
Yeah, how come you don't slap the guys that did all this and that when they took that break?
Yeah.
Like, I got so much intel, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I know they get picked on, and I know they gone through some things, but hey, you put your fucking business out there. So since you put it out there, people are gonna use it. Sorry.
I'm not really. A lot of people seem to know a lot of their the inner workings of the relationship. I guess they made it pretty public. So based on what you know, give me a little bit of a backstory to what's been going on between Jada and Will and everybody they've been entangled with.
Well, just from the incidents, things like, okay, so Will Smith and Jada, they kind of, I guess, had a downfall in their marriage, so they took some time off. She started seeing people doing her, same as him, whatever, no big deal. But then they found themselves, you know what, this is us, let's get back together. So they did that.
Okay.
Now, on to the next, Jada and him, they were having problems still and outbursts and just, a rocky relationship. To me, it seems like Jada has him wrapped around the finger because, like I said, she doesn't love him like he loves her. I could see the difference already. I just know. She's been with Heavy D.
Way back when?
Yeah, before he was even in the picture. We're talking about when she was young.
Right.
Yeah, she's been with a couple of other people. I just don't want to, whatever, because I know this shit's going to probably come back and bite me. But yeah, I mean, dude, it's shitty, I think.
Somebody told me, I don't know if this is true, but did he cheat on her at some point?
Yes, that's what I heard.
Okay.
That's what I forgot to
Was
mention.
this recent or was this way back when or?
Way back when.
Okay.
Yeah, so it made things like rocky for them. So I think that had a lot to do with it. And she just, I don't know, she just wanted the upper hand. And that's why, when you guys fellas listen, you cheat on your woman and you really love her, she's going to run you in the ground, because you owe that to her. But only if you love her, you'll take it. Other than that, you ain't going to take it.
Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just don't really, as far as Will Smith goes, and I'm going to leave it right here, bro. He owes that man some money, in my opinion.
Yeah.
just because you embarrassed me. You know what I'm saying?
That was a very humiliating moment.
Think about it. What if someone hit you in front of millions of people anywhere, not just on TV, but on national TV? We're talking about different countries watching this shit. Like,
Yep.
come on, bro.
And he thought he was joking, all in good fun and whatnot. And is that where comedy is gonna? Is that the direction comedy is going? Do comedians have to be in fear of being assaulted because of a joke they're making? It's the whole point of them being on stage, cracking jokes.
They know what he does, and they had history. I think they had some type of beef back in the day, or he was with Jada, from what I heard. But it's
Really?
a rumor. That one is a rumor, guys.
Okay.
I heard that Chris Rock and Jada. I don't know if they seen each other, but they were hanging out with each other supposedly.
Right.
I don't know. So it's not on something like I got secure, but the rest of the info tells for itself. You could just look it up and search it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hey man, my opinion on the matter is that I think Chris Rock was wrong. If he knew her condition,
Yeah.
People handle their conditions differently. Some people joke about their condition as a way of just making light of it and not letting it tear you down. He probably thought it was all in good fun, but above that, Will Smith going up there and doing that is, to me, wrong on so many levels. You know
And
what I
then
mean?
you get your first Grammy. Sorry, man.
No, it's all,
I'm
it's
just upset about this shit, bro.
it's all good. It upset me too, and I can't even tell you why. It was just
Because I expect better than that from that type of lifestyle he lives.
Right.
He doesn't live like us or just in
Right.
middle class. This motherfucker, you know what I mean? He's got everything set.
Right.
So, come on, man.
he probably feels he can get away with it, being that he's Will Smith. I mean, Will Smith is looked at as somebody who's damn near perfect. This guy he got everything going for him, and he's such a role model. And everybody's human. You know what I mean? We react differently, and sometimes we doing something impulsive. But like you said the man thing to do would have been to talk to him at a more appropriate time.
Mm-hmm.
I look at that, what he did, as some hoe shit.
Yes.
I do. It make you look weak.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's being someone who's not here because he wants that title. He wants to feel whatever. And not just that, you're going to sit here and cry at the end talking about you doing shit for our people. Tell me one thing.
Yeah.
I ain't heard shit. Then you want to sit here and say you this, and that. You're playing a movie role. You're playing an actor style. That's
Right.
what you're doing. That's what we know you about. Yeah, maybe some of that was truth. Don't get me wrong, because I'm not a hater. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you the facts from what I see in my eyes. That shit that's toxic. He's a toxic person. Maybe he's coming around to something or in his life and he's letting things go, but there's no way you should be acting like that. I don't care where you come from. This ain't 1990 gang, blood, crip, gangster stuff or whatever, thug. This ain't nothing like that, man. This is
Yeah.
a whole nother time.
Yeah, so, I mean, Chris Rock said that he was not going to press charges with the LAPD. I would have. But
Yeah, I'm getting money.
you know what I mean? Will Smith needs to face some sort of repercussions. That's how I feel. But
But on top of that, not just with that, all that shit could be staged so they can get more clout.
and that's an interesting point. You know what I mean? I read that this Oscars was the second lowest viewership in its history.
Yeah.
People really don't care. I like I said in the beginning, I don't care about these stars, to be honest. But we talk about this because it's interesting, and it's kind of reflective on our society of how this hysteria and everything just feels so off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not together, right?
And there's no love. I don't
Nothing.
feel that love, man. Everybody feels like a humanoid. We ain't human. You know what I mean?
Program like a machine.
You know?
Like some type of cyber machine, or because you remember back in the day, you could remember phone numbers on your telephone.
Right.
Back in the day, you would listen to music, you have a feeling, a passion for it.
Right.
When you would go to church, you would come out and you feel good.
Yep.
Where's all that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's very odd, but the possibility of it being staged, you never know with Hollywood. I mean, look, at some point in time, I don't know exactly when, but like I'll bring up the news. At some point in time when it came to the news, ratings ratings became more important than the truth, than news itself. And so they learned at one point that chaos and fear drives up ratings. Therefore, they started to conjure up fear and chaos. And it's interesting. I bring this up, and I have a movie recommendation for y'all. I think everybody should watch this because it's just very telling of how the industry works as far as media and how it's connected to politics and how it's connected to Hollywood and all this stuff. The movie is called Network. It stars Robert Duvall, who's the other guy, Peter Finch, and Faye Dunaway. And in this movie, it kind of shows the process of what I was just talking about. They were more concerned. Once they found out the kind of uptick in ratings, fear, chaos, truth generates, they brought in the head of because in this movie, it's supposed to be like CBS, but they call it UBS. And, at this television station, they had the news, and then on the programming side, they had TV shows. So when the head of the TV show saw this news anchor on the news side kind of go off script, off the cuff, and just start going on his own little rant, she saw the bump in ratings that received. So she decided she was going to get into news. And they just started rewriting their stories. They started basically making up stories, all in a way to drive up ratings and get more money for their station. I definitely recommend that movie. It's very telling of the times now, and there's a speech at the end. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it exposes the dark, cold truth that we have to this world. And yeah, man, I'm not going to say too much. You really should watch it. It's called Network.
I'm going to have to check that out, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I haven't seen it before.
It has to do with it follows this guy named Edward Beale. He's a national news anchor.
Okay.
And he decides one day he's gonna go rogue and just start exposing truth and whatnot. And even though he was exposing the people he worked for, they saw the ratings and they didn't even care. And so I think that a lot of that happens today. Honestly, I know a lot of that happens today.
Oh yeah.
These news companies like CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News, they get caught up in a lie and they never take responsibility for it. They just spin it. They keep spinning it and spinning it and spinning it, and then a lot of people fall for that. But I don't fall for that shit.
I know, me too. I already know what it is, bro. I kind of have an understanding of what you're saying with the movie, but it sounds interesting. Something I want to check out. Network. So is it like Network. A new movie or old movie?
No, 1976.
Oh,
so if they were conscious of this concept,
okay,
and of this research and all this stuff that they were doing,
developing, yeah.
Can you imagine? Because I know there's some truth to this movie. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of truth. Matter of fact, there's a lot of truth in a lot of movies. When you see a movie about CIA, FBI, or whatever, who do you think they're consulting in order to gain that inspiration to write the most accurate, realistic story? They're consulting these intelligence agencies.
Yes. And
so it's just crazy, man. Listen, don't take anything you see on the news at face value. Yeah. If there's one thing I'm gonna repeatedly tell you in this podcast, it's that. Don't take anything you see at face value. Do your own research, because if you take things at face value, you'll be led astray into a world of lies. And that's just the cold reality of how things are in this world. And I'm seeing more and more how the news, Hollywood, tech, and the government is all in cahoots.
Yeah, it's all one big like chain together. They're just all like linked together. You know.
Everybody answers to somebody.
Yep.
You know.
And that's how it works, man. And it's scary. It sucks because what if that one somebody who's at the very top says "fuck everybody" and
I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I think that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, so that's scary.
There was this thing that I kept seeing. It was a bill passed in Florida, and it was widely referred to as the "Don't Say Gay Bill." Don't say gay bill. And I had just been I had been seeing it in the headlines for these different news articles amongst a lot of different publications, and my initial thought was, why would you call it that? In a time full of division and all this shit, all this hatred, I thought to myself, why would you call it that? You know what I mean? So it made me click on it, only to find out it's not even called that. It's not called that. It's called the Parental Rights and Education Bill. The people opposing it are the ones calling it that. So I'm like, man, that's what I'm talking about. This fake ass news, man.
I know.
Because all MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, blah blah blah, all these liberal news publications are calling it that, knowing damn well it's not called that. So I'm like, all right, let me at least read into what it's about. That bill is about not teaching K through third graders about sexuality, homosexuality, transsexuality. They talk about oral sex, masturbation, safe sex, blah blah blah. Why the hell would a kindergartner through third grader need to know about that before they could even read, write? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy. But that's the type of the world on the other side, like that they live, sexually early. They learn how to shoot a gun at 7 or 8 years old. Long as it's a different time, and it's everywhere. Especially, like you said, it was in Florida, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, dude. I don't agree with it. If anything, if the kids come to you or the teachers and say, "Hey, this, and that," you should talk to the parent and say, "Hey, is it okay for me to teach them, or would you like for me to teach them?"
Bro,
I don't know.
There are people professionally trained to address these issues. If you're inserting it into curriculum where it's just a normal thing, you have all these teachers who aren't trained on that. So it could be potentially dangerous for their psychology if you're giving them bad advice or bad info, whatever. These are the type of things that people over years of developing your own character, finding out who you are, then you start to ask questions as you grow older. Yeah, sometimes for some very young kids, it comes a lot earlier than others. But to just put a blanket over everybody, just to teach it to every kid, K through third grade, I don't think that's asking for much. You know what I mean? Why are you forcing it on kids that young? They should be reading, writing, and doing math.
Exactly.
Kids haven't even developed the ability to reason at that age.
They haven't.
So a kid, it's like a kid with his parents. In the early part of a kid's life, what a parent teaches them is truth.
Oh yeah.
They don't have anything else to compare it to. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You know how many times I went to school? I know this because my dad told me so. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's what they go off of.
And so if you're giving them this early in their life, they take that on as truth. And you're seeing it with a lot of youth. You know what I mean? There's a lot of confusion when it comes to these social issues from such a very early age. Instead of just letting kids be kids.
That's the thing, that it's not like that no more. They don't even want to go outside, bro.
Nope.
Yeah, they don't. It's like outside now only if they go out late at night.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you won't see them go out there during the day unless they got to do something or play soccer or whatever. But nah, these kids are at home online, and that's it, bro. So Yeah, what a waste of a future for him. I feel for him because outdoors is really good for you. I don't care if you're old or young. It's really good. There's things you can learn, things you can do. If you have a creative mind, you can really build things out there. I mean, it just depends on what you want to do.
Right.
And they don't know. They just think online is the way.
Yeah, man. I mean, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, but these kind of things are only happening in this city or that city." Well, no, it's happening a lot of places.
Oh,
I keep
yeah.
seeing this pop up over and over again in different cities throughout the United States. It's not just one place. And if you haven't heard of it, it's because you're only looking at one line of news. You're only looking at one line of information. You're not looking at the counterpart of that information, and that's important. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just look at news and take what makes you feel right and then push off everything that doesn't make you feel right. You need to evaluate both sides and everything from the full 360 scope.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're gonna see the truth of the matter. Otherwise, you have a biased perception of what's going on.
Yeah, and that's pretty crazy, man. Like the stuff we're talking about. I'm glad you guys are tuning in and checking this out, man. Go, once you hit us up down in the comments, let us know if you want to like talk about anything we talked about. We'll answer your questions. Just stay tuned. We got more coming right now.
Yes, sir. Hey, yeah, like he said, get in those comments. Let us know what you think. There's I've talked to a lot of people about this Will Smith thing, and people are very divided on this issue because, I asked a few women, and
What'd they say?
it's interesting because they said it's nice to see a man stand up for his lady.
I got two opinions, so
Because-
let me see here. Yours.
Okay, yeah, no, you can go right ahead. And I can agree with that because I have noticed a lot of dudes out there who are just, they ain't down like that for their woman. They won't,
Nah.
and that's kind of an old school thing, just from my observation. But what do you think?
No, I got two opinions from a woman. Once my wife, she told me like, I said, "What do you think?" I asked her at lunch today, and she told me like, he could have took care of it a different way instead of that way. Because I broke it down to her. I said, "This is his first Grammy. This is really important. This is gonna be a moment in history for him." But she said, either way, they both were wrong. Just like we said, either way.
Mm-hmm.
But I gotta go with who lit the fire, and it was with Chris Rock. So you started it. You started this fight, and then you got shot down.
Right.
And hey, I think Will Smith is whatever. He's the one that did it ignorant, and I have nothing against him. I have nothing against his family or his kids, but you guys put your stuff out there, so you cannot get on people for them talking about you. You're the ones.
Yep.
We didn't go over here and get your diary or journal. You
Yup.
guys are the ones that put all this info out. So if anything, from now on, excuse what I'm about to say, shut the fuck up from now on and don't put no more out there.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's it.
You know what? Chris Rock's a comedian. He's gonna crack jokes. You know this.
Yes.
Will Smith, that was wrong, man. I'm just gonna say it right now. And then there's a lot of dudes who are gonna support what you did. I don't, and I don't give a fuck how you feel. You know what I mean? Like if you feel different, then you feel different.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. I don't agree with that shit.
Quit trying to be like Tupac.
You ain't gonna be Tupac.
So.
You should have smacked August Alsina like that.
I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, I'm glad you said it, bro.
But he ain't a big enough star, I guess. So I don't know.
Nah, he's just trying to be somebody in front of people, man. Like I said, it could be clout or it could be whatever, but they need to stop this shit. Because
Yeah.
they say they don't condone it, and I agree. That's the Grammys. That's not no BET show or whatever the fuck they do now.
Right.
That's the Grammys. That's
Grammys or Oscars?
Is it Grammy? I thought it was Grammy. Oscars?
Oscars is
get
the
it right.
movies, I think.
Let's get it right.
No, I think it's the Oscars.
Is the Oscars?
Yeah, because Grammy's the little record player, golden record player.
That's right. You're
Okay.
right. Yeah.
But it's all the same to me anyway. I really don't give a fuck.
because I don't watch it, so I don't know. But I know something like that.
I feel it.
Yeah, but yeah, man.
But yeah, we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for listening. And until next time,
All right.
have a good
Peace.
night.